So there's a story in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that gives an account for a woman with the issue of blood. And actually, in all of these accounts, it never even actually gives her a name. You know, we don't know if her name is Lucy or Elizabeth or Sally or whatever. It just says the woman with the issue of blood. And I found that to be interesting because people tend to identify us by what they see is wrong with us, like our flaws. So even though this woman with the issue of blood is being identified as the woman with the issue of blood, that doesn't mean that she's not a good person. That doesn't mean that she wasn't a good mom, or, she didn't live, this good life. But you would have never knew that because she's identified by the woman with the issue of blood. And I'm just curious to how many people are letting the world identify them by a mistake or by a flaw or by something that was in your past that's not even no more currently you. I know people who I may talk to, or I've even heard people in conversation, they'll be referring to someone and they'll be like, man, you remember the one that used to drink all the time, or the one that drinks all the time, or, the one that smoke all the time, the pothead. And people will identify you by what they feel is a flaw or what they feel is wrong with you. And when you let the world start identifying who you are, you lose who you truly are. And so you have to be spiritually rooted in God, and you have to know who He says you are. Because in Psalms, there's actually a verse near Psalms, let me see here, 139:15. And it's basically saying that my frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret. And so for me, that means when we were being created, long before anybody ever knew, long before it popped up on the ultrasound or, popped up on the test or whatever, God knew who we were. And before we got to this world, He already spoke things over our life, and He already told us who we were. But we get so caught up in what other people think about us or what they say about us, we lose our own self-identity. And it's very, very important to know who God says you are. And God, He loves you. He loves you with everything in Him. He gave you His everything. We all know John 3:16. We know what it says. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. He gave us the ultimate sacrifice. He loves you. There's no question about that. God says that you are healed. He says that you are whole. He says that you are beautiful, you strong, you have His peace, you have His joy. You are His child. He seeks nothing but the best for you over your life. He's already spoken it. All you got to do is walk with Him. Grab His hand and walk with Him. Trust Him. Believe what God says about you, not what this world says about you. Because if you let the world tell you who you are, you be lost. But if you believe who God says that you truly are, then there's nothing that anybody in this world can say about you, can think about you, can tell somebody else about you that can be true or that can discourage you or affect how you feel. Let go of the opinions of this world and believe what God says about you.